Hello everyone, welcome to this video where we will talk about pronunciation features such as the vocal tract, pronunciation features, phonemes and allophones, word stress, vowel reduction, strong and weak forms, assimilation, and elation. First, we have the vocal tract, but before the vocal tract we have our lungs, where air rushes through our windpipe and into our larynx, also known as the voice box. In the larynx is ubicated what we know as vocal folds, two bands of smooth muscle tissue that control the flow of air and cause the vibration that generates sounds at the moment of speaking. Next, we have the pharynx, a hallway that connects the mouth and nose to our throat, and it gives shape to the sound created by the vocal folds. Then, the oral cavity, where our tongue, lips, teeth, and palate work together to create the final sound. The tongue is in charge of the form that air is released, and lips produce the sounds B, P, and M, and regulate the sounds produced by vibrations. And the teeth, with the help of our tongue, are responsible for trapping the air and release it with pressure, creating sounds that are produced by the air, vocal folds, pharynx, and oral cavity working all together.
A phoneme is a unit of sound in spoken language that distinguishes a word from another. An example of this can be the sound of P in the word pen, and on the other hand, an allophone is a variation of one phoneme in many words. An example of this, again, with the word pen and the word stop. As you can hear, the word pen, the sound of the phoneme P, it has like a stronger puff. Meanwhile, in the word stop, it does not. Okay, it sounds like if it were invisible. An allophone is one or two variations of the same phoneme in spoken language, which does not change meaning at all. An example of this can be the word pen with the phoneme P and the word stop. And as you can see in the word pen, the P has like a more strong puff, and in the word stop, it doesn't. It sounds like if it were invisible, stop. So that's like the difference, but it does not change meaning.
The phonetic features of phonemes: voicing, rounding, nasality, and plosive. Voicing is about sounds, and it refers to your vocal cords creating vibration when making a sound. For example, in the sound of S and Z, when saying the S, the vocal cords are not vibrating, but when saying the letter Z, they are. Next, we have rounding. This term refers to the shape or position of our lips when we are making a sound. Let's think of the sound E, O, and U. Take a few seconds and say them. When you say O and U, your lips make a circle, but when you say E, they are stretched. Nasality refers to when the airflow passes through our nose, known as nasal sound, and this air is allowed to enter through our nose, closing the pass to our mouth with our soft palate. As an example, we have words that ends in ing, where this feature is more remarkable. And the last phonetic feature, plosive. As you can see, plosive is similar to explosion, which is related to the term. Plosive is the explosive sound that we make like in letters like P, T, and K, sounds that are created by a fast release of air with pressure.
Word stress is the stress that you put on a certain vowel of a word. An example of this can be the word present, and as you can notice, when we pronounce the word present, we put like a stress or put like a burden on the part where it says present. As you can notice, it is like harder or harsher. Present. Okay, one is more calm than the other. Another example of this can be the word record, in which, as you can notice, if you say it record, you can see that you put like a stress in the syllable cord. Okay, record, one is simpler than the other. Another example can be the word refund, and again, as you can notice, it is like more calm than fund. refund, refund. And last but not least, we have repeat, in which we put the burden or the stress in peat, repeat. So one is, again, more calm than the other. Vowel reduction in phonology refers to the reduction of the number of vowels in a certain word. An example of this can be the word fur, as in a fur, the fur of an animal. And a strong and weak form of a word. When we use a strong form of a word, we use it when we want to stress a word. An example of this can be tell him to come here, or tell him to come here. As you can see, I'm putting an emphasis on him, as in I want him to come and not other person. In phonology, assimilation is what happens to a sound whenever the neighbor word has an impact on the other word. An example of this can be this shop, and if we talk and we say them together, it will sound like this shop. So we omit the S phoneme. And elision, on the other hand, is the complete erasure of that phoneme. An example of this can be kept going, and when we pronounce it in real life English, it will be kept going, so we don't hear the T. The difference between assimilation and elision is that when we talk about assimilation, it is not about erasing a phoneme, but about changing the sound of it. And when we talk about elision, we do talk about erasing that phoneme.